as always. Dear colleagues, our theme today, muscles of the neck. And first point, which you should know, is classification of the muscles. Very often students ask to me, what is the best way to remember all the material, and what is the best way for preparing our homework? And my opinion is that you should to write down a small conspect. And this classification, which I shall demonstrate you, is an example of such kind of homework which you should do yourselves during preparation to our practice. So, classification of the neck muscles. There are three large groups in this classification. Superficial muscles, middle muscles, or they named muscles of hyoid bone, and third group is deep muscles or prevertebral group. These three groups of muscles include a lot of separate muscles, and our task is to remember each of it and to find in the special specimen and planchettes. So, let us begin from the superficial muscles. This group include two muscles. It would be better if you numerate the muscles for remembering. In this group, two muscles, musculus platysma and musculus sternocleidomastoideus. It's an example of your conspect. This way, you should prepare your conspect, and I will check up it during our practice. So, this is a picture from one Russian textbook of Sapin, and here all the muscles are demonstrated, and one of them is a muscle about which now we discuss. This is number 11, musculus platysma. And the second muscle from superficial group is number 12, musculus sternocleidomastoideus. Now, let us find it on our planchette. this is musculus platysma. Musculus platysma, and this is musculus sternocleidomastoideus. Sternocleidomastoideus and musculus platysma again. Oh. You can see that musculus sternocleidomastoideus can be seen on that planchet also, because it make a reliefs on the surface of the neck. This is musculus sternocleidomastoideus. Okay. And now I would like you also demonstrate on some kind of photograph musculus sternocleidomastoideus, and musculus platysma isn't seen if we don't make some kind of its contraction. Now, middle muscles. This group includes 8 muscles of hyoid bone, and they could be separated into 2 subgroups: muscles located above the hyoid bone and muscles located below the hyoid bone. And there are 4 muscles above the hyoid bone: musculus digastricus, number 2, musculus stylohyoidus, number 3, musculus mylohyoidus, and number 4, musculus geniohyoidus. And in subgroup B, muscles located below the hyoid bone: musculus sternohyoidus, musculus sternothyreoidus, musculus thyrohyoidus, and musculus omohyoidus. Such interested specimen. What was the way to prepare such kind of specimen? You can see here the mandible, and some of superficial muscles were cutted and removed. And now we can see only the muscles of middle group of muscles which are connected with hyoid bone. This is hyoid bone. So some muscles located above this bone, and some muscles, namely 4 muscles, below hyoid bone. Now in detail. Muscle number 1. What is it? Musculus digastricus, venter anterior. Musculus digastricus, number 1, with apostrophe. Musculus digastricus, here it is, venter posterior. And now let us try to find it in our planchettes. Musculus digastricus, venter anterior, and here it is, musculus digastricus, venter posterior. Okay. Now, very important information which we should try to keep in memory. We discussed it on last lecture. 3 points. Origo, that means origin of the muscle. Insertio, insertion. And functio, function of the muscle. So, origo of venter anterior is fossa digastrica mandibule. Fossa digastrica mandibule. Let us demonstrate. We can understand that this is mandible and fossa digastrica is here on the interior surface of the corpus mandibular, and insertio is hyoid bone. That means venter anterior passes this way. And now venter posterior. Они видят это, они это видят или нет, мышку? And now venter posterior. Venter posterior begins, that means origins from incisura mastoidea ossis temporalis. И височную кость мы забыли. Височную кость мы тоже забыли. Там была отдельно. And скажи тоже височную кость там приготовлена. Inserts to the hyoid bone as well. So, function of the musculus digastricus is raise the hyoid bone. It raise upward and this is movement which is necessary during our processes of eating. So, number 1 is musculus digastricus. And number 2 small technical pause. Please be attentive. Помощь Самантри ищет височную кость. И посмотрите, он, наверное, просто ее ищет также в четвертом, во втором. Я не могу переключиться на демонстрацию. Скажи мне, как это сделать. А почему ведь она уже здесь была?
Кто?
Само по себе изображение. Почему нельзя было на ней продолжить демонстрацию?
Ну, альтаб нажимаешь, и ты переключаешь на PowerPoint.
На PowerPoint. Хорошо. Okay, now we continue. The number 2 is musculus stylohyoidus. Musculus stylohyoidus. Here it is. Number 2 is located very closely to the venter posterior of musculus digastricus. А чтобы показывать здесь, чтобы надо уходить, да? То есть если я здесь показываю, этого не видно. Okay, you can see that musculus digastricus venter posterior, number 1 with apostrophe, and musculus stylohyoidus are placed closely to each other. And origo of this muscle is processus styloidus ossis temporalis. Let us find it. Processus styloidus ossis temporalis. This very long and narrow process. Крупным планом. Processus styloidus ossis temporalis. From here it begins. Okay, thank you. And insertio corpus ossis hyoidus again, here. So we can understand that the function is to raise the hyoid bone, the same process as musculus digastricus, which is very useful during eating and swallowing. And Now, continue. Muscle number 3 in our picture. You see, here it is. These two numbers, one demonstrated from right side, another from left side. This is musculus mylohyoidus, mylohyoidus. Now, on our planchet, we shall demonstrate it in our planchet. Musculus mylohyoidus. You can understand that it forms the floor of the oral cavity. So, we can understand that musculus mylohyoidus begins, its origin is linea mylohyoido linea mylohyoida of the mandible. Linea mylohyoida of the mandible. Thank you. And insertio raphe and corpus ossis hyoide. According to the corpus ossis hyoide, it's quite clear. Here it is, corpus ossis hyoide. What is raphe? That means this muscle is paired here in right side and here in left side. And in the middle, these two muscles join with each other by means of small tendon. This raphe was of kinds of tendon between two mylohyoid muscles. And we shall demonstrate it also now in our planchet. Here it is, raphe musculus mylohyoidus. Okay, thank you. And what is the function of these muscles? It forms floor of the mouth. This floor of the mouth named diaphragma oris. We can understand that, for example, if we shall cut or we penetrate this diaphragma, we will be in cavitas oris, in oral cavity, where, for example, tongue is placed. So, function is forming of diaphragma oris. And now we continue. Muscle number 4. To demonstrate it, we use a new specimen. You can understand that to see these muscles, we need to look from oral cavity, from above, not from the neck, like here, but from opposite side, from above. This is mandible. All another muscles were cutted, and we see only diaphragma oris, that means floor of the oral cavity. Here it is. And one of these muscles already is known. This is number 3, musculus milohiatus, and number 4 is paired muscle, musculus geniohyoidus. Geniohyoidus. In our planchets, we can't demonstrate this muscle because of necessity to have such kind of cutting like in this picture. The main points: origo, spina mentalis ossis mandibula. Spina mentalis ossis mandibula. Here it is. Spina mentalis ossis mandibula. Spina mentalis ossis mandibula. From this point, it begins. Thank you. And insertio corpus ossis hyaide. Corpus ossis hyaide, that means this point, but from above we can see on this picture corpus ossis hyaide here also, and function also raise the hyoid bone. Os hyoidus move upward. Also, during swallowing, it's necessary to raise the hyoid bone. So, 4 muscles which placed above the hyoid bone. Musculus digastricus, musculus stylohyoidus, musculus milohyoidus, and musculus geniohyoidus. All of them are numerating in our picture. And continue. Muscles located below hyoid bone. Number 5, musculus sternohyoidus. Musculus sternohyoidus. You can see that in our picture, on right side, it's cutted in 2 places. So number 5 is located here near the sternum and here near os hyoidum. And on the left side, it wasn't cutted. It's entire muscle, and these 2 muscles is more superficial from the 4 muscles located below os hyoidus. So let us try to find it in our planchets. Here it is, and now we demonstrate it largely. Musculus sternohyoidum. In our planchet, it isn't cutted. It's entire from right side. And later, in our practice, we shall find these muscles on cadaveric specimen. Continue. Number 6. Musculus sternothyroidus. You can see in our picture that musculus sternothyroidus can be demonstrated only after cutting of musculus sternohyoidus. That means number 6 is deeper than number 5. And if we didn't cut nothing, can we see the musculus sternothyroidus? This is part of musculus sternothyroidus on the left side. And in our planchette, we shall also find it. Here it is. Closely to the musculus sternohyoidus. This is sternohyoidus and this is sternothyroidus. More deeply. Thank you. Main points. Origo, manubrium sterni. You can see in our picture, here it is, manubrium sterni. Insertio linea obligua cartilaginis thyroideo. This is cartilago thyroidea, the main cartilage of larynx. And to it is inserted. And function, this muscle lowers the larynx. Why we need to lower the larynx? In the necessity to open mouth very largely, for example, and also in swallowing, in process of eating and swallowing. And the next, number 7. You can see that number 7 is continuation of number 6. It's musculus thyrohyoidus. Thyrohyoidus. This muscle is shorter, and let us try it in our planchette. Here it is, musculus thyrohyoidus, a small, short muscle. Thank you. And the main points, origo, cartilago thyroidus, insertio corpus ossis hyoidus, and function pulls the larynx upwards. Also, during swallowing is necessary this movement. And the last muscle, number 8. Here it is, number 8. This is musculus omohyoidus. Musculus omohyoidus. Musculus omohyoidus in our planchette Here it is. Musculus omohyoideus. Картинка в картинке. Картинка в картинке.
Нет.
Ну, надо, чтобы было.
А.
Again, musculus omohyoideus is here. Okay. Main points. Origo, incisura scapule. Incisura scapule. It begins here, where is incisura scapule. Incisura scapule. Okay. And insertio also corpus ossis hyoide. Corpus ossis hyoide. Прямо кончиком. And function, this muscle also pulls the hyoid bone downwards. This muscle pulls the hyoid bone downwards. Also, is necessary during process of swallowing. And now we shall continue. The last group of the muscles, deep muscles. Another term, prevertebral group of neck muscles. Deep muscles or prevertebral group. They include 7 muscles, namely musculus scalenus anterius, musculus scalenus medius, and musculus scalenus posterius. Scala as the scale. You know, in Italy, there is a famous theater, La Scala, that means scale. And these muscles are in form of the scale. And another, longus colli et longus capitis, musculus rectus capitis anterior, and rectus capitis lateralis. So 7 muscles. Muscle number 1 here is musculus scalenus anterior. Musculus scalenus anterior. The main points are origo, tuberculum anterius, processus transversi, vertebrae cervicalis from 3rd to 6th. Maybe on the skeleton. Origo. Tuberculi anterioris, processus transversi vertebrae cervicalis from 3rd to 6th vertebrae. Here it is. Here they are. This is place where this muscle originate. Okay, continue. insertio tuberculum musculis scaleni anterius of first rib, costa prima. Insertio is first rib, just here. And this place is musculus, is first rib or costa prima. Okay. Function is this muscle raise the upper ribs. This muscle raise the upper ribs. Why do we need such movement? During inspiration, we need to raise upper ribs. Continue. Muscle number 2, number 2. Musculus scalenus medius. Here it is, number 2. Musculus scalenus medius. In our planchette, it is here. Scalenus medius. Oh, here it is. Close to scalenus anterior. Scalenus anterior. Demonstrate, please. Scalenus anterior and medius. Anterior and medius. Anterior and medius. They located close to each other. Thank you. And хочу демонстрировать. Андрей, презентацию. Да. Musculus scalenus medius begins from tuberculum anterior processus transversus of vertebra cervicalis from 1st to 7th. On the vertebra cervicalis from 1st to 7th on processus transversus, and inserts also in first rib to costa prima. The same function. They raise the upper ribs. Thank you. And now we continue. Muscle number 3. Here it is, number 3. You can see it is close to the middle scalenus muscle and inserts on the second rib. This is first rib and this is second rib. Musculus scalenus posterior. Musculus scalenus posterior. So, origo, tuberculum posterior processus transversi from of vertebra cervicalis from 5th to 7th. Insertio costa secunda, second rib, and the same function. This muscle raise upper ribs, which is necessary during inspiration. So, next. Number 4. You can see number 4 here. on the columna vertebralis, and it is also number 4. This muscle names musculus longus colli. You can see it really long and flat, musculus longus colli. Origo of this muscle, vertebra cervicalis from 1st to 7th. It's quite clear on this picture. It is beginning, insert origo, and inserts to the vertebra cervicalis also. So it could flex the cervical spine. Okay, and the next, 5th muscle is musculus longus capitis. Here it is, longus capitis. In left side, it was cutted, and so we can understand that is located more superficially and more superiorly in comparison with longus colli. Origo of this muscle is processus transversi of vertebra cervicalis, and it inserts into pars basilaris ossis occipitalis. Let us try to demonstrate it. Inserts here on os occipitalis. Function of this muscle of musculus longus capitis is that it flexes the head forward. It flexes head forward. If it contracts from both sides, but if contract from one side, that will be inclination to this side. And the last muscles, number 6, you can find, here it is, near the skull. This is musculus rectus capitis anterior. Musculus rectus capitis anterior. This muscle is very short, and located between massa lateralis atlantis and pars basilaris ossis occipitalis. And pars basilaris ossis occipitalis. Here. Okay. And function of these muscles, also it flexes the head forward. It flexes the head forward. And the last number 7. Musculus erectus capitis lateralis, musculus erectus capitis lateralis. На планшете. Вот там надо показать. Musculus erectus capitis lateralis. Here it is. And rectus capitis anterior again. Rectus capitis anterior. And rectus capitis lateralis. Oh. Here they are. And also the function of this muscle is flexes the head to the side. When it contracts, we can bend head laterally. So you can understand that for demonstrating these muscles, usually we use special planchets, artificial specimen, but some of this muscle we try demonstrate in our cadaver. Thank you.